There's been some super interesting leaks that come out lately, and there's been some revolving around the next Xbox, some revolving around the PlayStation 6, and I found this to be very interesting because it does indeed look like Microsoft and Sony are kind of going about things in a slightly different way. Where the actual platforms are concerned, and I think Microsoft is going more towards like a PC type of factor, and again, that's going to be okay for some people. I know some people think that's going to mean something incredibly amazing for everybody, but for me, I think that I just want a regular console, and I just want like a console that that kind of pushes the games. It's like when you look at things and you look at how PlayStation has done things. I mean, they have the name for sure, and they've recently announced they've done over 80 million PlayStation 5s, and it looks like the Xbox platform is kind of stuck at the under 30 million mark, which is unfortunate as well. And it just kind of goes to show you that gamers are still yearning for consoles. I mean, the Switch 2 is a good example of that. But I want to get into this because I feel like it does put Microsoft in a little bit of a bad position, and that could be detrimental for competition. So, hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews with another video. Thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I do daily gaming content, so if you're looking for something that is fun yet informative, look no further. I am that. I try to do stuff daily. I did take a recent break, but at the end of the day, I'm back, and I'm trying to do my best to make sure that everything is fun and relevant, at least. It's been a little bit of a slow time here and there, but now we have some very interesting pieces of gaming news, which I always find to be fun and interesting to kind of take a look at, whatever the case may be. And like I said, Microsoft has done a good job with this stuff, and they've really kind of pushed the idea of hey, we're going to try and do something a little bit different. But I think Microsoft's biggest problem is that they do things and they change too quickly and will go the exact opposite way, which is really kind of unfortunate to see if that's something that they can accomplish or not. So according to this, the PlayStation 6 will deliver 5 to 10 times the ray tracing performance of a base PS4. 4K 120 frames per second console is going to be a very compelling proposition because it's going to be a typical console price. So I think that's the point that a lot of people are going to really kind of flock to. And I said this earlier because people really doubted me. I said, listen, they're going to have a PlayStation 6 that's going to be like $500-600, right? And people just call me crazy and go, oh no, that's never going to happen. Listen, if you want a large install base, you're going to want to have a console that's going to be able to sell to the masses, and something that's $900,000 isn't going to be that. So the PlayStation 6 will support significantly better ray tracing performance than the base PS5. Pretty obvious, actually. A performance uplift in line with current generation systems, performance improvements over the PlayStation 4, which somehow signals a change in focus for the company. So again, there's a lot of this stuff that's coming out, and I find it to be incredibly interesting. And so, hey, why not do a video on it? I think we're going to see some interesting stuff with the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox, whatever the case may be for that. I think we're going to have to I guess wait and see kind of what happens. But the way that this is kind of worded and the leaks have kind of come out, it does look like we're going to be seeing some interesting stuff. During the latest episode of the Broken Silicone podcast, Moore's Law is Dead provided additional comments on PS6 leaks, revealing that while specs may have been changed since the presentation, the fundamental idea behind the next generation system hasn't changed. While the 2 to 3 times the PS5 performance estimation has been confirmed, they provided some additional details on the system's ray tracing performance, saying it'll be 5 to 10 times the current generation system performance. Ray tracing performance uplift and the PlayStation PlayStation 6 will deliver over that of its predecessor, and that makes sense according to the leaker. The performance has essentially been saturated with the PS5 already, delivering frame rates in the 80s, ranging from some titles at 4K resolution. So it makes sense to have a limited rasterization performance to hit a reasonable 4K 120 frames per second target for the most common TVs, while keeping costs down and still offering a significant performance improvement where it matters most. James Pryor, former AMD senior product manager, agrees with the sentiment, as the focus has shifted from rasterization performance to other things like ray tracing and AI upscaling. Additionally, a 4K 120 frames capable machine capable of delivering RTX 4080 or 5080 performance is going to be a very enticing proposition, because it's going to be coming in well below $900, especially considering some of the typical console advantages over PC, like smaller form factor, plug-and-play convenience, power draw, and more, and the fact that the system is never going to compete with PC gaming, unlike what the next generation Xbox could be doing with the flexibility offered by the Magnus APU. As such, Sony is going the other way in the market with a $1,000 fatigue with devices like smartphones and GPUs costing $1,000 or more. It could be very interesting. Going from what has been leaked online in the past few weeks, the next console generation promises to be extremely interesting in some unexpected ways. Hopefully the PS6 and the next generation Xbox will offer to put up good use to deliver some truly next-gen experiences that could impress even those like Hideo Kojima, who are feeling sort of a stagnation with games and they look and play the same. So, again, this is something that realistically, it's nice to see. And, again, like Sony would have to absolutely come in well under, you know what I mean? Because there's rumors that the next Xbox will be more powerful, which I don't doubt. But if the next Xbox is just a PC, it doesn't really matter. It just feels like, gamers are going to kind of flock to PlayStation at that point with the better price point and things like that. I just feel like, it's hard to say, because Sony pretty much got away with doing whatever they wanted this generation, and they were able to kind of get away with it because there was no real competition there. And I feel like there's still very little competition. I don't look at the Switch 2 realistically as competition for PlayStation, and I don't really look at the next Xbox, if they're doing some kind of PC thing, as competition for PlayStation, because PC gamers very much like to tinker and kind of build and upgrade and stuff like that. So I doubt they'd be interested in buying a non-upgradable quote-unquote console that would probably be overpriced. And the same thing with the PlayStation. It's like these things are very much catering towards a certain type of audience, and so that's where I think Microsoft is going to have the most trouble, is like, who is their platform going to be for? And they've really kind of left that kind of out in the open there. We don't really know who that platform is for, and who is going to necessarily pay off from being in there. You know what I mean? Like that's I think going to be really an impressive thing to see. Is Microsoft going to be able to kind of hold their own? Are they going to be able to do things that realistically change how gaming is, and how gamers react to the platform itself? Because I feel like, as fans, we all have to kind of look at these things and go, okay, what are they going to do to kind of keep us enticed? What are they going to do to keep us on the platform to begin with? And I think that is probably the main thing that Microsoft is going to have to do, is convince people, hey, we're still relevant. If they can't do that, then they are, I think, in big trouble. So hopefully they can get things worked out. I think, obviously, Sony is going to try to do what, as a hardware company, they're going to do what they can do to make sure that people buy a PlayStation still. That's the fact of the matter too. So we'll see what happens in the future. For me anyway, I'm going to go wherever the console is, like a traditional more console, right? Like, if Xbox is offering PC stores and stuff like that, I can't see myself ever really being into that. So we'll see what happens. Like I just want to be able to play my games and not have to deal with a bunch of nonsense. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'll link this in the description. You can check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.